What if tomorrow you woke up and just like that, you had the body you've always dreamed of? Your health was on point, energy levels were high, and your confidence, through the roof. Completely Possible Fitness wants you to know that it's possible to change your life and make your dreams come true. We specialize in weight loss, muscle building, functional training, group exercise, and nutritional advice. Don't let another day go by not having exactly what you want. Contact Copo Fit and let us help transform your life. Copo Fit is on all social media, or you can email us at copofit@gmail.com. That's COPOFIT@gmail.com. Do you love drama as much as I do? Plot shifts and heart-pounding turns will keep you enthralled in the new book, Soiled Sheets by Phoenix Ash. Dana and Marshall are drawn to each other, but their flame has a tendency to burn and splinter all that once mattered, quite possibly even each other. Will they make it through the debris or become part of the ruins? Find out when you purchase your copy of Soiled Sheets by Phoenix Ash, now available via Amazon Books and all Kindle devices, and it's free with Kindle Unlimited.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at?
Well, actually, I live in Delaware now, so does that make me a Delawarean?
Sing it, girl.
You know, Beyonce is my friend in my head. Jay my people sometimes, too.
Yeah. I mean, like, be true, man.
You know, when I was a kid, I had an imaginary enemy. Like, does that make me crazy?
Life as P, presented by Say What Radio.
Hello, this is Life as P. I'm your host, Phoenix Ash. If this is your first time joining me, I'd like to say thank you. I appreciate you giving me your time. I appreciate whatever social media platform you found me on or whatever great friend you had that recommended you listen. If you are a repeat listener, thank you so much. You know, I appreciate you and you know, I gotta tell you. So if we get into it, you know that I often will talk about whatever's been my theme of the week in terms of conversation and so forth. And I actually thought I was coming to talk about not being that person. And when I say don't be that person, listen, guys, I so appreciate everyone who's sending me invitations on Facebook or on Instagram. But I know I talked about before, if you're naked in your picture, I'm not going to accept. But I often find myself using the block button. I never used it before, and now I have to because people start messaging me with these weird messages, want to strike up conversations in weird ways. You know, if you and I don't know each other for real, and we just became friends on whatever social media platform, why would you want to slide up in somebody's messages and just say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How was your weekend? Why would I want to have this conversation with you? I mean, I can see if you and I are commenting on the same post and we're interacting through those comments, or we have friends in common and someone recommended that we reach out to each other, which I've had that happen, and I'm more than happy to have these conversations. Or you're a reader or a listener to the podcast and you're reaching out to say, hey, what other platform can I listen on? Or I'd like to read your work, or I have some feedback about your work. I'm open to all of that stuff. But someone messaged me, I don't know them for real. I accepted their friend request thinking, okay, you know, whenever I accept a friend request, I think that maybe we can organically grow to know each other or network or support each other's work. I definitely want to do that with as many people as possible. But then you get the weird folks who send you a message and say, hey, if I pay you, or if I give you a discount on this product. Will you post this thing for me? And I'll tell you exactly what to post. No. Listen, I'm a grown-ass woman. You're not going to catfish me, dumb me into just you sending me something that I got to cut and paste. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. And I have to reply, I don't know you. That's not what I do. It's off-brand. You know, honestly, if that's how you do your business and it works for you, so be it. But I would recommend that you take a look at people's profiles before you send them these random messages trying to get them to do things for you or trying to get them to purchase things. Because sometimes I befriend another author or someone befriends me or whatever. We're in the same reading groups, we're in the same writing groups, whatever. And then you slide up in my messages and say, hey, download my book. And I'm like, did you not see my profile that I'm an author as well? Why didn't you slide in and say, hey, I just downloaded your book and I'm reading your book. And would you mind downloading mine or something to that effect? But you just jump right into my messages. I've never met you. I've never talked to you. And I've never even interacted with you on anyone's post. I just accepted the friend request and you're like bombarding me with, hey, buy this, do this, download this. Why? And true transparency, okay? I get it. I didn't get it before. I get it now because years ago, at this point, it's almost 10 years ago, I did a web series called Saved by the Blood, and it's available on YouTube if you ever want to search it. And when I was first putting out this series, I don't know that many people, or I didn't know that many people back then. And so I was like, who's going to watch it other than my 5 friends? And 4 of them are probably in the series. So I was like, how is I going to send messages out? So I get up on Twitter and I'm tagging people. I'm in Facebook. I'm tagging people to watch this thing. And one person more than one person, but got so annoyed and was like, what's the benefit of me watching this? And how does this benefit me? You're not putting forth anything that's going to benefit me. And then someone else was like, don't tag me in something like this because other people might think that my values are in alignment with this. And so, of course, it was clear to me that you hadn't watched it. You assumed what it was about and you hadn't watched it. But I couldn't understand why these people were getting so offended. And now being on the receiving end, I understand. When you don't know someone and they just tag you randomly or tell you to check something out, they're not offering you anything. They're not saying, hey, this thing aligns with what you do. It aligns with what you say your beliefs are or whatever. They just randomly tagging you. I can see why it's annoying. And then if you are someone who is doing fairly well for yourself and has somewhat of a following or is known for something, and then you have like hundreds of people who were doing this to you. Yeah, I get it. I didn't always get it. I get it now. It's stalkerish. It is. It's stalkerish. It's weird. But oddly enough, I decided that wasn't what our show was going to be about today. I guess that's the beginning of the show. I don't know. But I was having a conversation with my girlfriend who is embarking on a new leg of her journey. And the thing that she's doing is it's a performance, and she's always wanted to do it. And for years, she's talked about doing these kinds of performances before even taking the chance to try to do one. So last year, she tried her first and she liked it. So this year, someone offered her the opportunity to do it for one of their events. And I'm so proud of her and so happy that she didn't turn it down out of fear or that she didn't run in the opposite direction or feel like, oh, well, it came so far away from the last time that maybe, I'm misreading the universe. But I'm so proud of her for chasing it. And so we were talking about preparation, particularly because, listen, I was still on a high from last week. I did a presentation for Women's Day and International Women's Day, and I did a writer's workshop at a company called BCW in New York, and they streamed it to several of their other offices, which I was so excited about. But I haven't done a workshop in a really long time. And although I felt that the content was good and I presented it fairly well because I knew the content, which I think is a very important piece of good presentation, is knowing your content. So I knew the content. I was basically spilling over. But when I looked at the video, I was like, oh my God, I had so many notes about how do I pick my clothes out in the future? How should I stand? How should I move my hands? Just all kinds of things about who should I have as a photographer? Who should I have as a videographer? Where should they stand? How should they plant themselves? What do I need them to move around and do? Lots and lots and lots of notes. And because I'm sort of at the beginning of this journey for this part of my life, because when I've done it before in the past, it wasn't, as an author, wasn't as a podcaster, wasn't as a speaker. It was, I like to write. I've taken some courses and I could probably help you with some stuff. And it was mostly for young adults, for teens. So now that I'm presenting to grown folk with real jobs who actually write for a living, I'm like, okay, let me get myself all the way together. And I'm so appreciative of the opportunity for me to share the things that I've learned, because I do think that a lot of my tips for writers is very helpful, because it's not the tips that you hear on these free webcasts that you think you're going to follow 50 million of them and hear all the same stuff and realize that this is stuff I either already knew or is not very helpful. But these are actual real things, real tips that I've run into that I was like, gosh, I wish somebody told me this or pointed this out. It would have made my life a whole lot easier and there would have been a lot less resistance. Given all of that, I was on a crazy high, but of course, because of my notes, I was like, pulling myself in a little bit. And my girlfriend, knowing that I gave notes to myself, was like, I'm going to send you a recording of my performance and I would like you to send me some honest notes, which I did. And I thought about what I was advising. And I was like, I talk about being in full bloom and owning where you are right now, and not necessarily coming from the perspective of I'm working on, I'm trying to get better, because there is work that you've done that has gotten you to today's point. So there is a portion of yourself and of your accomplishment that is in full bloom, that is blooming all those things that you've put towards it. At the same time, you are a seed and you're planting seeds and you're going forward and you're going to be in full bloom in your next moment as well. But then there's a portion of my advice that says you still need to own where you are right now. And that doesn't mean poisoning the well and making excuses for, this is not my best writing, which I can tell you I do that a lot and I'm working on that myself. But, before someone has the chance to read, you're like, this is not my best. Or before you get the chance to step on the stage, you're like, okay, well, I'm new. So, you got to make some allowances. That's what one of my professors used to call poisoning the well. Whereas you don't let people determine what they feel or think about your work before you've planted a seed in their mind as a negative seed to say, bring down your standard. That's basically what you're asking. Can you bring down your standard a little bit? Because I don't believe I've risen to your standard, but you don't even know what the standard is. So don't poison the well. However, own where you are. Know that, yes, I am doing this. I've been working on this, and this is the portion I do well, and this is the portion I need to work on. Sometimes when you're performing, we try to force ourselves to memorize information. And sometimes that is the thing that leads to our downfall. You don't want to memorize the information. You want to know it. So when you're booking an appointment to rap, sing, be a comedian, whatever, when you're going to do a TED Talk, whatever, you're going to go on stage, you're going to do a writer's workshop, whatever, it should be information that you know. And sure, you can have slides and cards, but own that. Don't cower from looking at your cards. Don't cower from taking a glance at your slides, looking back, looking at your notes, looking at your outline. Don't cower from that if you feel you need that. Own that, because people can see your ownership. It is not unprofessional to have notes. It is not. Some people are the people you see without notes. Most of the time, they've done this presentation 6, 7, 8, 10, 100 times. So they know the information. Now, for me, when I did my writer's workshop, I knew the information because this is regular stuff that I talk about. I do this podcast, which I absolutely love because I talk about a lot of the stuff that's on my mind and what I'm experiencing and what I'm learning. So a lot of this stuff is being repeated. And so I know the information because it's just stuff that's on my mind, honestly. So I have to do very little to memorize. However, it doesn't mean I don't have to prepare. Had I stood in the mirror and put on my outfit that I was intending to wear, I would have known how it looked, how it fit. Not that I looked bad. I have some great pictures, but there were certain things that I was going for that I didn't hit the mark on. And I was like, I don't like that. And even to the point of, I might need to eat a couple of salads. But that's for me. And that's not about not loving who I am or not, being comfortable within myself. It's knowing what I want to look at for me and the way that I want to move and my comfortability with myself. And in order to maximize that, there are certain things that I need to do to make myself healthier, whether it be exercise, eat salads, whatever, because there was some tiredness that I was like, I kind of detect a little bit of fatigue in my face or in my movements. And I thought I felt great. So reading that on screen, though, I was like, you know what? I need to do some things because I am tired. There is some fatigue. So I need to do some things and study up on different ways to boost my energy, particularly if I think I'm going to be doing this much more in the future, which I do believe I will. So I need to own where I am. And I was talking to someone in my family who was like, oh, don't beat yourself up. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell you, I am not beating myself up. But there comes a time where you have to face yourself, because if you don't face yourself with a bit of realism, how do you get better? How do you get to the point that you truly want to be at? Like, I don't feel that it helps me to lie to myself about being totally comfortable about where I am, whether it be my weight, whether it be my career, whether it be who I am as a mom or a wife. I'm constantly striving to do things just a little bit better. I'm constantly, listen, when it comes to time management, I need work, guys. I do. When it comes to getting organized, I need work. And the same thing when it comes to my wardrobe. I'm good for keeping stuff for 5, 10, 15 years in my closet, which is great. I can fit all that stuff for 10 years. Wonderful. But it don't fit the same way. It doesn't. So some things need to get refreshed. Some things need to get replaced. My style not even the same. So I'm not wearing it the same way. It's not even the same. Sometimes it don't even fit with what my current style is. So I need to get that together. But that's me evaluating where I am, what I want, and how to make everything in my life align with what I want. I want to see certain things happen in my life. I want to feel a certain way. I want to pursue my dreams a certain way. I want to grab certain accomplishments and hold them and say, I did it, and then reach for the next one and then pass some lessons learned on to whomever is coming behind me, or sometimes just the person standing next to me. So there are things that I have to work on, but I have to face myself. I have to be honest with myself about where I truly think I am and what I feel I need to do in order to take the next step forward. And this is not to cower me in a corner. This is not to make tears run down my face. And sometimes it does, but it's not to say I'm not good enough or I'm a disappointment to myself. It's to say you did good. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to do better, though. And let's make a plan for how we do better. And then I'm going to tell you that tomorrow I'm going to do better because I'm going to follow the plan. And then at that point, I'm going to make another plan to take the next step. So we sometimes have to separate what is beating ourselves up and what's facing ourselves. What is truly not being happy with ourselves versus being real about what it is we need to work on in order to become the person we want to become. And I think that there is such a stigma about being real with yourself or evaluating yourself that people think that anytime you have an opinion that isn't, I'm the bomb, I'm so great, that you are unhappy with yourself. And I don't think that it's black and white that way. I think there are some gray areas. There's people who can be real with themselves and say, this is where I am. This is what I need to work on, and can have the sense of accomplishments once they follow the plan and they get to where they're looking to go. And sometimes it'll take you someplace even further than that. So that's what I kind of wanted to talk about is, well, I guess I talked about it, right? Is owning where you are, knowing what you've worked to do, being proud of yourself for reaching this particular point, and then making a plan to reach another plateau. Make the plan. What's the next plateau? It's not to say you're not happy with the accomplishment that you've made thus far. But what's next? Where you going next? What you want to do next? Do you feel how you want to feel? Do you look how you want to look? And, people be saying, oh, you should love yourself and love your body. And that's fine. Yes, love yourself and love your body. But if you don't feel good, if you're tired all the time, if you have no energy, if your face is puffy from not getting enough sleep, listen, I'm so bad at getting the right amount of sleep. I'm bad at it. And then what kills me is that I'm actually very tired. So because I'm very tired, if I leave my laptop downstairs, then I'm up for hours in the middle of the night doing nothing. It sucks because I'm too tired to get up and go down and get my laptop, but I don't sleep well, so I'm not sleeping. Now, if my laptop is next to me, I usually get up and use the time to write. But I'm trying to get a better hold on that. I need to bring my laptop upstairs because if I'm not going to sleep anyway, the least I could do is be productive. And usually after I spend an hour or so writing, I can knock right out. So that should be part of my bedtime routine, actually, is to pull the laptop out, get some writing done. I ought to sleep like a baby. Accomplishment gives me the best rest. I don't know about you, but when I accomplish something, I sleep so well. When I've had a day that I feel productive, once I get off the high of being productive, because I don't know why it gives me a high. Maybe I'm just not productive often enough. Maybe, I don't know. But if once I get off the high of being productive, because I'm so proud of myself, I can sleep really well. So I like the accomplishments. So I'm owning where I am in terms of what I want for the next step in my life, for my career, my family. So there's a thin line. Or maybe the line is not so thin. I don't know. Is the line thin for you? Like I said, I don't think it's black and white where you're either beating yourself up or you're in total acceptance of where you are and what progress you made. I feel like there's a gray area where you're like, yeah, I'm proud. I did good. Okay. Now, these are the things that I want to work on so that I can get better. And I don't think that's a harsh criticism of yourself. I think that's how you evolve. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. If you want to get at me on Twitter, I'm at P Writes. On Instagram, I'm also at P Writes. You guys have obviously found me on Facebook. I'm Phoenix Ash. It wasn't that hard to find. If you want to read any of my work, if you want to read about my journey to becoming a full-time writer, please pick up Long Neck Bottles. It's available on both Amazon and Kindle, and it is now also available on Audible. I'm super excited about that. It's great. So if you don't have the time to read, but you have time to listen to a book and you have Audible, I think if you do a free trial with Audible and it's one of your, I think the first 2 books are free or something like that. So if you don't have Audible, you can check it out just to check out my book. Wouldn't that be great? If you are a reader and you have Kindle Unlimited or you love paperback, you can certainly read my novels, In Her Makeup, or you can read Soiled Sheets. Soiled Sheets is the first of the Davenport series, which I have the second book coming very soon. So if I were you, I'd pick that up. But In Her Makeup is dope too. Just saying. It is dope. If you like to laugh, you can pick up Musings While Binging. And trust me, if you are a TV watcher, if you are a meme lover, you will love Musings While Binging. Again, if you need to get at me, if you need any of these links, you can certainly reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram. I'm more than happy to share the links. If you need me to remind you what the titles are, or if you're looking for past episodes, you can get at me on Twitter or Instagram at PWrites. You can listen on all kinds of different platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Play. I'm wherever you are. I guess I am the stalker, huh? Anyway, I thank you so much for giving me your time. I thank you for lending your ear, because you are why I make it through, because I have you to talk to, because I have you to spill out to. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Until next time, when we can exchange our power. Peace.